Hi, this is James from SBL Truck Driving Academy here in Greer, South Carolina. We wanted to bring another video to you and talk about common terms, phrases, or acronyms. In any industry, there's a language that people within that industry speak. And the same rings true for the trucking industry. One of the things that we find with new students is we will be having a conversation amongst the staff, and everybody here's got a lot of experience, so we'll use these terms and phrases and acronyms, and a student say, hey, what are you guys talking about? So we wanted to do just a short video, because if they're having that concern, then maybe you are too. We want to try to help you. So we're going to go through some acronyms and terms and phrases. This is not all inclusive, but just some of the basic ones. So we'll start with USDOT. That's the federal agency that's responsible for oversight of commercial transportation, aviation, trucking, oceanic vessels, etc. USDOT, United States Department of Transportation. FMCSA, that's the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. That's an agency under the umbrella of the USDOT, and they're responsible specifically for tractor-trailer enforcement, regulatory issues, and guidance. STP, or State Transport Police, is the police authorities on a local level that enforce the commercial motor vehicle rules and regulations. This ones you may see may have a truck pulled over, or see working in a weigh scale when you cross into another state or something. Those are the folks you'd see there. All the rules and things that they go by is found in a book that's commonly called the FMCSRs, or Federal Motor Carrier Safety Regulations. And again, that's just a book. Okay, it's a book with the rules and regulations and the parameters of a driver's hours of service, equipment inspection requirements, medical requirements, and so forth. And that book is produced, or actually, the end result comes from FMCSA. Okay. One of the things about that book is most people won't tell you to look up page number 212, for example. They'll tell you to look up part number, say 395. Well, that's hours of service. And those are the numbers in a bold font in the top corners of the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Regulations. Part 380, for example, is where you would find the entry-level driver training requirements. The DMV, most people are probably familiar with that acronym. It's the Department of Motor Vehicles. They're the state agency that's responsible for all the testing. And commercial driver's license testing, or CDL, is not so much different than when you got your regular automobile driver's license. You had to get a learner's permit first. Same thing in the trucking world. You have to get a CLP, or commercial learner's permit. That's a series of written or computer tests. To get a Class A CLP, you have to pass the general knowledge, combination, and air brakes test at a bare minimum just to earn a Class A CLP, or commercial learner's permit. All the other things some people would consider maybe an add-on, but it's actually called an endorsement. So you have doubles and triples, tankers, passenger, hazmat, etc. Those are endorsements. Those are, again, other written tests to put on the commercial learner's permit, or CLP. Once you've had your commercial learner's permit and you've been properly trained, you can go and try to pass the CDL, or commercial driver's license testing. Whereas the learner's permit was a written test, the commercial driver's license, or CDL testing, that's hands-on. That's where you go and do a pre-trip inspection for an examiner. So you're putting your hands on parts, you're telling them what that part name is and what defect or deficiency that you would be looking for. The next part of that is skills, where you move the truck around within very defined parameters on a closed course, and then the last part of it, you go out for a road test. A couple of other things that's not relatively new, but it's relatively new in people talking about it. The last two here, ELDT, entry-level driver training. That goes back to the Part 380 that I mentioned a while ago. That's the part out of the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Regulations where the training requirements are outlined. An ELD, or electronic logging device, that is the computer device on board the commercial motor vehicles where drivers maintain their driver's logs. It's also a messaging machine in most cases, just depending on what brand or vendor your company's having to supply those with. But usually you can do some messaging back and forth. I hope this helps you a little bit to try to understand the language that we speak in the trucking industry. Thanks for watching and have a safe day.